All right, welcome to the show, Polina. I'm super excited to have you on today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Can you give me like a high level understanding of what you have going on today? Like, I know you said you're an agent, but what does the operation look like today?
Sure. So we've been in business since 2011 and started like real estate agents, traditional real estate, doing listings, serving buyers, and then slowly branched out into rentals. We started renting, purchasing rentals. And as of about 2 years ago, we decided to try flipping houses because inevitably we come across good deals just as agents. And this cash offer solution took popularity with Open Door and other big companies offering it. So our clients were asking us about it, and we decided to give it a try and started slowly branching into that. So currently, we are doing flips. We are doing traditional real estate, and we own rental properties.
And then what was the goal of rentals, or what is your end goal of that?
With the rentals, we wanted to produce enough passive income so that we can possibly let go of the traditional real estate or not be pressured to have to produce as traditional realtors to support our day-to-day expenses.
Okay. How much money do you need to produce in order to have to hit that goal?
Well, when we started, we needed less than what we need today because the cost goes up and cost of living and everything else. So right now we would need $20,000 a month in rental income to have consistently coming in so that we are not pressured to do traditional real estate. And if that happens, which it does, inevitably being so long in real estate, you get referrals and whatnot. But at least that can be money that we can invest or be fun money.
All right, so how many flips have you guys completed? And it's you and your husband, right?
Yeah, it's me and my husband, and we haven't really done that many. We do about 5 to 7 a year, and we've only been doing it for a couple of years.
Okay, and then do you wholesale at all, or are you only flipping and you're an agent?
We are not wholesaling. That's kind of how I found you because I
Okay.
was buying from wholesalers, and I know it's another branch of this real estate business because we're currently running, 3, as I'm looking at it, 3 branches. But I don't understand that world very well. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But it would be, I think, we would like to add it to our operation as an option.
Okay. So, high level, we don't need to get into granular yet. Like, what is the income that you guys are producing today, like on average a month? If you were to take, say, the last 12 months and average it out versus where you want to be.
On average. On average, we produce between 30 and 40,000 a month. And we would love to go, as high as we can. But,
Well, yes, I don't that a specific number though that you're building the business upon, so that like all of your actions every day are to hit this end goal.
yeah, so we do a goal setting for every year. And I don't know that we've ever discussed to have an end goal. Like if we reach this number, we're stopping and we've arrived. But for now, we would like to hit 1 million in gross in GCI.
Cool. And then what is the like responsibilities and roles between you and your husband? Like how do you guys segregate roles, and then how do you hold each other accountable, or what do you guys track now?
It's not very well defined, I would say. I am mostly the business operator, marketing, admin, everything else, and my husband is mostly servicing clients. He's more relationship based. He is the type of personality that likes to connect with people, go for lunches, and I am more of a driver and basically runner of the business.
Okay. And then how do you guys hold each other accountable today, like on performance?
We don't have that. I have to admit to it. We have the goal, each separate goals. I have my goals, he has his goals, and then we're kind of responsible to reach those goals. And if one of us doesn't, then there's really no consequences for that.
Do you feel like that's negatively impacting the marriage?
It hasn't. I don't know if, because again, we've been kind of doing this more of a broader operation just recently. As real estate agents, you kind of do your own thing, but I don't know if you grow more, if that would, I'd imagine.
So I think that the first thing that has to happen, regardless of the operation, is we've got to get soul aligned with one mission, right? So like you and him should have one goal, not separate goals. And then we reverse engineer that goal down to the day-to-day KPIs that have to get hit to hit this monthly goal that feeds into this quarterly, that feeds into this yearly goal. Or what'll happen is, I'm just guessing, I'm also like a very strong personality, but I know it would happen to me. I would build resentment with my marriage, because I also work with my spouse, if we were just kind of doing our thing and then we didn't have one common end goal and then a way to hold each other accountable. What'll happen is if there's not a very clear understanding of our roles and responsibilities and what we're supposed to do, and we don't meet on it every week and hold each other accountable, we'll build resentment that one person's not doing something. So I really think that we have to start with that, because it feeds the foundation to everything else. And then when it comes to what does the operation need to look like, because you're a little bit newer to it, we can't define exactly what it looks like if we don't know the exact end goal that both of you are aligned going down towards. Which is easy, like it's one session, we sit down, we go through this whole exercise, whatever. But ultimately, we got to start there, because reverse engineering our revenue outcome is actually pretty easy. And so a lot of people, I think, overcomplicate it. But if you're like, hey, I want to make $50,000 a month or $100,000 a month, cool. I know who needs to be on your team. I know how much you need to spend on marketing. I know what systems you need. Like, all of that's the easy part. Then the hard part becomes making sure that then you guys hold each other accountable to metrics and KPIs, because you're business partners while at work, not necessarily spouses, if that makes sense. And you'll get the same payoff when you're down like one direction.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be very helpful. And it could have been partly because of me. I have a hard time delegating. I'm the type of personality that gets things done no matter what. If something needs to get done, it gets done by me or by somebody else. I pick up the loose ends, so to speak. So I may be out of fear that, okay, if we do what you just said, and we have clear-cut responsibilities, if something doesn't happen on his end, what do I do? Do I pick it up? Do I let it fall flat? How do you navigate that? So it's been one of those where, if there is any help, that's good. But if not, then I will make it happen.
Yeah, this is just really where the clarity comes in, and both of you saying, yes, I commit to X, Y, Z on this paper. And then when we have a weekly meeting together, we bring our KPIs in, and you either hit it or you didn't, right? It's no different than managing an employee. So like if I come into a meeting, if you're held accountable to X, Y, Z, but you didn't hit it, then it's like, okay, let's work through why. Let's figure out what the gap was. And then define, was it a process gap? Was it an importance gap? Or is it like you just chose not to do it? And we can't even get to that step if we're not aligned on what we're both committed to doing in this partnership.
Yeah.
So I always challenge spouses, because, I work with my spouse. So I always challenge spouses to look at each other and say, hey, if we weren't married, would I be partnering with you in business, or are we only partnering because we're married?
Yeah, no, I would definitely partner with my husband, even if we were not married. I mean, he has very strong traits. He used to work in quality control, so he has an eye for things as far as that goes. When we do flips, or when we inspect a property to purchase, he can see things that I would never notice. I'm more of a visionary, a big picture, and he can see little things. So he completes me in that way. I trust him, and he manages people really well just because of that relationship piece of him. Whereas I can come across a little strong sometimes with contractors and whatnot. So we definitely have different but complementing traits that would make a really good business partnership. I think you're right. What's lacking is clarity between us and with our goal, and making it maybe um, more clear. I'm just also confused on the fact that what if my goal is bigger or I'm more ambitious? Like, do I tone mine down? Do I bring him up, or do we take it maybe smaller steps along the way? But I guess that's probably part of this, what you talked about, discovery, where you talk about such stuff and work it out.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. I left my career. It's actually going to be 10 years. Wow, it's March? It'll be 10 years in like a month. And so I originally started the company and ran it on my own for a year. And Josh was working in commercial construction. So thank the Lord he knows construction, because I don't. And he was like kind of helping me with some flips and contractors on top of his job. And then we had to have a sit down because we were engaged at the time, and I threw my ring at him and said, we're not getting engaged because this is destroying our relationship. But ultimately, what ended up coming from that was that we just weren't aligned. It was like we were running 100 miles an hour, and like, yes, we both wanted to win with each other, but we didn't know how because we had literally no roles and responsibilities. And I am very much the visionary, and he's very much an operator, a people leader. Like, we are complete opposite skill sets. And at that time, when we sat down, and I am very ambitious, I looked at him and I said, look, this is my goal. This is what I want. And this is where I'm going. And I want you to be a part of that, because I think we complement each other very well. But if you're not, that's totally cool too, because I'm going to do it with or without you. And he decided to come on board. And then we said, okay, where do you fit and where do I fit? And we were still stepping on each other's toes for a while, but we ended up, we flew out to this event in Phoenix a long time ago. We hired a mentor, and he sat us down and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, wow, you're stepping on each other's feet. And it was that day that he was like, we are today. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It'll evolve over time as the operation goes to where you want it to go. But it was like, Tiffany, you are responsible today, effective today, for marketing, systems, and dispo. That's what I was that day. Josh, you're responsible for acquisitions and construction. You guys are both not allowed to operate both of them ever again. So since that day, I literally have never stepped foot into construction or acquisitions in 10 years. And if you were to be like, hey, Tiffany, what's the sales process called? I don't know, because that's his thing, right? I just stay completely out of it. And so I think right now that's just the first step. Let's get aligned on it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's normal, even if it was someone else, not even your spouse, a business partner. When you only have you two, it'll evolve, right, as the operation evolves. But we have to put it down on paper on what are we committing to, where are we trying to go, because it's way easier to reverse engineer the rest of the business from there. And then I'll be able to say, oh, okay, based on that and your market spreads, here's what we need to go after. Here's how much money we need to spend. Here's how we put in the systems, the operation, etc. That part's turnkey. But I think the first step is let's just get each other aligned on the operation. And here's what I'm guessing is happening too for you. And I don't know if you've ever been in another wholesaler or flipper's operation, but until you visually see this thing live, you might not know if you want it, right? That's why we always do shadow bay at our workshop, because for those people that maybe are one-man show or an agent looking to get into flipping or wholesaling, that's why I like to pop the hood and say, come shadow the team, sit with every single role, because then you'll understand what it looks like and what you want and don't want, because not everyone wants to be me, And my job is to just get you to where you want to go, not to where I'm at. So if I could care less if you want 2 deals a month or 20 deals a month, my job is to get you where you want to go. And so I think that you need to shadow or watch an acquisitions person, the transaction coordinator, the dispo person, see how construction happens and understand, okay, this is what I see myself doing and not doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's exactly what I've been thinking. I mean, it sounds like we are you guys at the beginning, right? Like if what you just described is where we are, now. Uh, and we've talked about it, like how high or how far we want to take it. We're not the type of people that want to be selling the most amount of houses or flipping X numbers or trophies or like people that chase that popularity. If we hit a comfortable spot, I think we will just navigate and stay there. We think right now. I don't know. Maybe it becomes like a game and an adrenaline rush, and you just the thrill of the game takes over. But as of right now, we're definitely not looking at growing and doing more and more, and
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that you have to have a lot of energy to want to be my size. Like, to be honest with you, you can still make really good money though, being really small and lean. And so, Coach Aaron, who sits in my office, he also does real estate on top of working for us full time. So to put this into perspective, he's an agent. He works here 50 hours a week, and he did 75 wholesales and flips last year on top of that. So that's really, and he has a fully virtual team. Like, I think he has one closer virtual, a TC virtual, and a virtual assistant that helps him on Dispo, but he manages most of the Dispo, I believe. And so you can do a lot with a little, but you just have to see it live to understand how it operates. How do I onboard someone? How do I train them? What metrics do I track? How do I put in the processes? That stuff is just going to be a little bit of learning curve in the beginning, but you can have a lean team and do 3 to 5 deals a month. And honestly, you could probably do that with one person if you really wanted, as long as you guys are willing to stay active day to day in the business.
Yeah, I think I've heard you share his story. I think he also has little kids or had a new kid in the process of this as well. So yeah, it's surreal to think that that's possible. I don't know. Like you say, maybe if I see it, I can visualize it. I hear it that I see in your guys's results. I've listened to a good number of podcasts with you and your story, and then through the trainings that I've attended, what you guys share. So I see it's possible, but at the same time, it's almost like, but it's not possible for me, or in my case. So
why do you feel that way?
I don't know. I know I'm capable, and I know I've proven, because I came from a different country without knowing anybody here, and in real estate you need to have some sort of network to get started. I was from nothing, built something, and was successful, and still I am in business, right? And however many years later. So I know I'm capable, but there's that also part of doubt.
What country are you from?
Romania. I was born in a country neighboring. It's called a small country called Moldova, and then I went to Romania, where I did my high school and college, and that's where I came here from.
Is your husband from there as well?
I know he's actually from here. Yeah, I came as a student one summer to work. I was studying international business, and I came with my friend just to experience a new country and also make some money, obviously, being a student. And we were working in a gift shop and in a resort area, and he came for fun with his friend, walked into the store, and we met, and then 2 years later we kind of dated, and he said, "Yeah, I think we should marry. You should come over." So I said, "Okay." And everything else is history, as they say.
If you came in from another country, it sounds like you're well educated, right? You went to college. It sounds like let me preface this. When I went to college, okay, I went in there knowing that I'm capable of getting good grades. But if you just threw me in a class and said, here's the test, go pass it without teaching me the knowledge to pass it, I'm not gonna be able to pass it. So right now you're sitting in unknown territory because you're lacking knowledge. Not because you can't do it, it's because you don't have the knowledge of how to yet. It sounds like everything you've done in your life, you've made happen because you gained the knowledge on how to do it. You've been trained to do it. You were trained to be an agent, you were successful as an agent. You were trained somehow to buy a rental, you did it. You came to another country and you made things happen. You worked at that gift shop, someone trained you how to use the register. Right now, you're lacking the training and knowledge to even make it happen, but once you have that training, I have no doubt based on your history that you will make it happen. And so I think right now this is the number one thing holding you back.
I agree. I will tell you that the business was simpler up to this point. It was much more simpler. At this point, I feel very much overwhelmed. There is a lot that needs to happen to take it to the next level. I feel overwhelmed at every step. I still don't have, a clear way of managing leads. Let's just take that piece. A lead comes in, what happens to it? Everything, to this point was me manually taking care of that lead and following up and whatnot. But you need a certain amount of leads to be able to do a certain amount of volume of business. So I started learning a certain CRM, and I got very quickly overwhelmed with all the setup and all that it requires. So I reverted back to, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to do it how I knew. So I feel stuck because of the overwhelm I feel in different areas, leads, marketing, admin work, on top of which I have to learn and put in place, because you talk about systems and you're very, very much right, because you need systems in order to operate a business. I know that from my school and common sense, but how do you put that in place and run your business? It's at a certain level. It's very hard. So that's why I feel like I plateaued. I hit that ceiling and I can't break through.
Do you feel like a lot of that stuff that you're tinkering with and it's overwhelming is because you're trying to figure it out on your own? So you're like sitting there and it's taking you an hour to do something that if someone told you knew how to do it, take you 30 seconds?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah. Or if I found, I've looked for where qualified people maybe to do it. I'd pay somebody to do it for me, but I haven't found anybody who can do it good enough. If you know what I mean. So it's always, and it could be again because I have hard time delegating. I have a certain standard of quality, and I want things done in a certain way. So then it has to be me, but there's only one me, and I don't have, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I'm a sister and I'm a friend and I have a social life and I have a business, and it's just a lot.
Well, I think right now keep in mind when I say systems, processes, and all that, it all comes with due time, right? Like it doesn't all happen overnight. It all starts with where are we trying to go? From there, I would recommend you're in a stage right now where you shouldn't try to figure it out on your own. Because what's happening is not only will it take you 10 times longer, but it's actually preventing you from even taking the action step forward.
Absolutely.
Because you're overwhelmed with what you just don't know. And because you just don't know what you don't know, this self-talk is super negative, right? The reality is you're a badass. Like, that's the reality. And I think that you believe that, and you're not, like, your words about yourself are kind of, I don't want to say like ultra negative, but the reality is you can do it. You just don't have the person or the understanding of how. We got to close that gap, like faster, sooner than later, okay? And then what I recommend is we take it one step at a time. So we don't need to go conquer the world with like what I do, in the sense of we don't need to be running 1 million marketing channels. We don't need a big team right now. We don't need any of that. We just got to have a system that's basic for now, launch one marketing channel, and master the sales process. That's all. Everything else doesn't matter if we don't have the deals. So like, let's just master that one thing first. What happens is when you lock up that deal that's worth 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, the dispo or the transaction coordinating part of it, it's like you're going to figure it out because now you got 30 grand on the line, right? Like you're going to force yourself to figure it out.
Right.
And so right now we're just lacking knowledge. That's all I see right now. Like I can't pick apart anything else other than let's align you and your husband, get really clear on that and go after one mission, reverse engineer what it's going to look like and put in the goals. But then we just got to learn how to produce the lead, lock up the lead. The rest of it we can do after, because when you have a really good deal, it sells itself if you have to wholesale it. And if not, we'll make sure that you get in front of someone that's bigger in your market to help you move it. Or you'll rehab it or list it or whatever. So like when you have 30, 40 grand on the line, you'll be surprised at what you figure out in our 24-hour time period.
Yes, and we've done it before, so you're absolutely right. And like you say often, revenue is number one. Like you have to stabilize that, and then you can start working on the other parts of your business. So yes, we have to definitely get very consistent with that. And then I feel like everything else will just fall in place. You can add things as you have revenue to reinvest and whatnot, and you feel more confident that things are working out to do that, to take that lead.
So in order to produce any level of consistency, even as like a 1-2 man show, the number one skill set you have to produce is the acquisition skill set. The rest of it, here's the reality. My first 12 to 18 months in the business, I was overwhelmed too by the CRM. Okay, so what I did was I was handwriting my notes. I was like putting it in a Google sheet saying follow up here, do this, do that. But as long as I could feel confident in my ability to convert that lead, the system part can come after, because that money now produces me the ability to continue to invest in that and my knowledge and all that. Now, the basic CRMs today, like I think it's just literally maybe like a half day training that you probably need to just watch the flow of a lead. But again, like that is all just knowledge gaps that are super easy to close. It's just training.
You say it's not a leads problem, it's a conversion problem. But we have relied everything, all our deals on pay-per-click, wholesalers, and cold calling. Cold calling is not working very well anymore with the new rules in place. So me and my husband has done that too. So currently it's just referrals, wholesalers, and pay-per-click. Wholesalers have become extremely expensive and greedy. I don't know what happened and why, but they make actually most deals not profitable. So, that's where we found ourselves in a position where we need to start producing our own business, because you can't rely on either other than the referral. The other channels are just not stable enough. Something changes and you lose that, and then your whole business goes, because pay-per-click becomes ineffective or very expensive. Wholesalers, the same thing. So now you're left without leads, and we need to find a way to bring leads on our own to us. I think that's where right now we're struggling, because
You said you were cold calling. How were you calling?
What we were calling lists.
Mm-hmm.
So we were calling expired listings. We used to call for sale by owners, and then we would just circle prospect. It was very ineffective, but we did pick up deals around our listings, or we would pull lists with a certain amount of equity and those parameters.
Do you feel like that, like you're saying that cold calling didn't work? I would beg to differ that it's the data you're calling that's not working. It might not be you that's not working. because every list that you just talked to me about, we don't call. Those aren't distressed enough for me to waste time on.
Uh, yes, they were very broad lists. You had to go through a lot of numbers in order to hit a deal. We did make deals. We did we made money through those lists. However, yes, I mean, listening to you and learning how you can stack, I mean, that was not even a concept I knew about how you stack lists, and you can make it very, very targeted. Uh, yeah, we didn't know that was possible, so we would have done it, but just didn't know about it.
Yeah. So what I want you to hear what you just said. I would have done it. I just didn't know. So again, it's a knowledge gap. So
Yeah.
imagine how much else that you don't understand because you just haven't been trained to properly do it in the first place. So up here, you're telling yourself it doesn't work when the reality is we're not even doing what we're supposed to do to make it work.
Or we're definitely taking the hard way instead of, there's a better way. There's somebody who's gone ahead of us and, has figured out what works and what doesn't. And we're just stumbling through, discovering it ourselves very slowly, costing us a lot of time and money. And, feeling like we're constantly a step behind everybody else because of that.
So what do you foresee doing differently to fix that gap? Because right now it's surely a knowledge gap. It is truly just you don't know what you don't know. Like I couldn't right now, like let's say you gave me one of your recorded calls on those calls. I'm sure you're not really following a process. But again, it's because you haven't been trained on a process. So I think right now you're in a seat where it's like we just got to make a decision. If this is what I want, am I going to do what I know it takes to get it, or do I not want it? It's like, I honestly think that's the decision you have to make first. All the rest of the stuff, like if you're going to dabble in it, I wouldn't do it because you'll blow money. I would just make the decision. Am I actually do I want this in my future? Yes or no? Cool. If so, I'm going to commit to doing what it takes to actually go get the knowledge to do it. And I don't know if you've heard me on a training go over the concept of learn, do, become, right? Like, I can't become this person and get this result up here if I don't first learn how to do it. And then it's my job to do what I got taught. And then the next step is I have to become the person that deserves the result, or I don't get the result. And a lot of people say things like, I'll go to the gym after I get a 6-pack. I'll go get healthy after I end up in the hospital. I'll hire an acquisitions closer after my deal flow is consistent, but it takes the closer to make the deal flow consistent. So like all these things are self-talk that are backwards. So if we want this result, we've got to start with the learn, do, and then become the person.
Yeah, I agree. I think to answer your question, first, what I would need right now is clarity, business plan, and steps, and benchmarks, and different things to measure to know that I've achieved that step to move to the kind of like a game, level 1, level, different levels of a game. If there is, I feel like with anybody probably, if there is a clear path to follow, it's just a matter of execution, which I think we're very good at. I mean, I feel like we're good on the phone. We're a good closer, acquisition, to speak in your terms, acquisition managers. These are all things that I didn't even know, right, until I came into your guys' world. But I feel like we're able to close a deal and do the sale. We just need to understand why we're doing it, where we're going, what we're trying to achieve.
Yep. It brings me back. I'm actually just got off a call right before you got on here with my sister. This month marks the 10-year anniversary of my brother getting his leg amputated from cancer. And I don't know if you've heard my story, but 10 years ago, I'm the oldest of a big family. My little brother got diagnosed with cancer when he was in high school. And I left my job to go help take care of my siblings, and I was literally like a lost soul. So I tried bartending, I tried manning, I tried all these things. And my cousin at the time was a house flipper. And I was bored, and I was like trying to find a job that would give me the time freedom to some degree to go be in the hospital, because he never left the hospital for a year. And my cousin, I call him one day, I'm like, hey, I heard you're flipping these houses. I'd love to come see one. So I go walk this house. I see the before and after, and he says he's going to make $80,000 on this thing. And I'm like, no disrespect, but if you can do it, so can I. So how the hell do I learn how to do it? And that day he was like, oh, I'm in this program called Fortune Builders. So Fortune Builders isn't a thing anymore, but that was a big program back in the day. So I didn't question it, maxed out my credit card, got into this Fortune Builders program. I didn't listen to my coach for the first 6 months, but I decided to start listening 6 months in. And that first year, I had no CRM, nothing, literally pen and paper. I put everything in color-coded folders. I door knocked and called them myself, and I did 40 rehabs the next 12 months when I decided that I was going to do what I said I was going to do. But I didn't even know it was a thing, right? When I was in my corporate life for 10 years, I didn't even know that flipping a house was something somebody did. I didn't know what a rental was. I didn't even know anything about real estate. I just thought a home was like an American dream you buy when you get older. And I was in a spot where I had no other choice, so I had to go figure it out. And I didn't just like wake up and become a flipper. I had to commit to getting the training and education, and then I became the flipper. Then as I did the 40 flips, I was like, I need cash faster than this, right? Because I was like new to all this. I didn't even know what wholesaling was a year into flipping a house. And so I called my friends and I'm like, hey, I need to learn how to make money faster. How are all of you guys doing this? And they all were like, hey, they all had one thing in common. They went to this event out in Phoenix at the time. So I was like, whatever, you guys all set at work. So booked a flight, spent my 3 days there. And the reason why I do shadow day today is because they did shadow day. And I remember sitting with each one of their members on their team, and I'm like, oh, so this is what happens. Like, that's how the conversation goes. That's how that person talks to that. That's what you press in the system. And it was like seeing is believing, right? And then I go to this event, and I hear the foundational basics of how this operates, and I ran out of that event and closed $250,000 in the first 30 days.
Wow.
And so, again, close the $250,000 if I just didn't learn how it worked. Like back then I didn't know you could take this real estate contract and sell the paper to this person. Like I didn't know that was a thing. But it took me going to that event to understand that. So I think right now it's not a you problem, it's not a him problem, it's not, I can tell you're a confident person. I think right now it's just like we got to commit that do we want this or do we not? What do we want to, and we don't have to know all the answers right now. We just need to know like, hey, and this is an exercise I do, and we do it at the events, by the way, but I recommend you and your husband do this. Every year we recalibrate this, me and Josh. You take a piece of paper, and for like 30 minutes, I want you guys not sitting next to each other to pretend that money grows on trees. Literally, like, what does your dream life look like? Is it working out every day? Is it retiring someone? Is it paying for someone's college? What is it? You can want a Lambo, a jet, a car, don't care, no, like it's your life, not mine. And write them all down, okay? For example, one of mine, when I first did this 10 years ago, was I was broke growing up. My father left us, he was a drug addict, and long story short, I didn't really like understand Christmas like I do now, because my mom was working 3 jobs. And so my friend in elementary school, when I became best friends with her, was like super rich. And I'll never forget going to their house in the holidays, and their parents would pay these designers to come in and design a different Christmas theme in every room in this mansion. And I wrote down on that paper, like, one day I want my kids to feel that feeling of joy. And so I gave it to my mentor, and I said, okay, here's all of my perfect life. And we put a price tag to it and said, okay, my dream life is XYZ per month. And from that day, my mission was hitting that number for the last 10 years. And what I would do every 6 to 12 months is I pull out 3 or 4 of those things on that list and add it to my revenue vault so I could slowly progress towards that life that I said that I dreamt of. Because I knew I couldn't do it all like in 6 months, you know. So one of the first things I ever pulled out when I was pregnant, was that tree thing. And my mentor was like, why aren't you doing it? And I'm like, well, it just sounds really expensive. And he's like, well, you don't even know the cost, so why are you saying that? So he's like, who could do it? I'm like, I don't know, I guess my stager who stages my flips. So I call my stager and I'm like, how much would it cost you to come decorate my house every year for Christmas? She goes, what I charge you for a normal stage. And I was like, oh, you're only going to charge me that? She goes, maybe double it because I might spend some time. So it cost me around $2,500 a year, $3,000 to have my whole house staged for Christmas joy. And sometimes up here, we hold ourselves back when it's really not as big as we put it out to be in our head. And like, I think me and you can agree that even without flipping houses, $3,000 a year, like, you're like, I can figure that out. But we think that we got to conquer the whole, become a multimillionaire to have the simple things that add joy to our life. And so right now, again, it all back to that clarity around what this paper says for the both of you. What's that end number? I'm going to make this up. Let's just say you tell me that your guys' life is going to be $100,000 a month. Cool. We might not hit that right away, but we're going to inch towards it, and we're going to try to put a deadline into the future of when we think realistically we can get there. And then we're going to put realistic goals leading into it, but we're on one mission. And when we gain clarity around that, then you don't stop till you get there.
Yeah.
And that might not even be flipping houses, but that worksheet will still bring clarity to the marriage and business partnership of like, what is the end game? Now, I hit that number 2 or 3 years ago. And I was in your shoes right now. I was like, I don't know what to do with my life now. Like, that's what I thought my life was all about, was conquering that paper. And then I realized when I got there, there's things and opportunities that you just don't even fathom right now because you're not taking steps towards it. So over time, you'll evolve, you'll think bigger, you'll learn new things, you'll meet people you never thought you'd meet. But we've got to start somewhere. And it starts with clarity of where we want to go.
We both are tired of just bouncing and winging it and just kind of going, but you really don't know where you're going. And it's kind of like, we can see progress and we're going somewhere, and it gives you satisfaction that you have progress, but you really don't have a direction. And it's kind of like the boat that kind of floats, and wherever it lands, it lands. You may like it or it may not, but having purpose and direction, I think, will definitely just bring a lot more satisfaction and give us the drive that we need to get there. Like you said, once you know where you're going, that's all you do. You want to hit that. Because my husband and I both are very driven and goal driven, and if we know what the goal is, then we'll make it happen.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I can tell just talking to you. So are you coming to next week's workshop? I don't even know the answer to that. Or not next week, next month.
So I want to. We weren't sure if I was gonna, only one of us can come right now. And it would be me. I think so. Yeah. Talking with my husband,
The reason why
we Yep.
Yeah, what I recommend, because it sounds like you don't know if you're coming yet. This is what I know it'll do for you. It's going to add a lot of clarity for you both. And I think that just getting that right now, no matter what you do after that, whether you want to work with us long term or you don't, but I think right now, I want you to picture yourself having full clarity with your husband and also business partner of what you want to do next. Because you might come out and say, yeah, I don't know if I want this. You might come out, see it live and be like, oh, this isn't as hard as I expected. And I'm just overcomplicating certain things. But what you'll do is you'll get to see it live, and you'll be trained as if you're one of my employees. That's how we open the event. And I think that's really important to see. The reason why I do that is because I just got off another podcast right before this. And these guys have 3 closers, okay? They've been doing this for years, but it's complete chaos. The reason why it's chaos is because the owner themselves, we all are like, what's really cool, by the way, is I have a one-on-one coaching, and we did a event not long ago. We were all sitting at a campfire. There was 30-something of us sitting at the campfire. I think 26 of them were from a different country.
Wow.
That tells me that when you come from a different country, there's nothing fucking holding you back. Like, if you have the courage to come here and do that, There's a reason why 26 of those 30 something people came from another country. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because when you're in that situation, you just do whatever it takes to figure out where the hell you're trying to go. But you had one mission. So did they. And so those guys I was just talking to, they have one mission, but they never put in infrastructure and they just kind of figured it out.
Yep, sounds like me.
Crazy. Yeah. I don't want you guys to go turn into that, because you have the ability to do it right from the start. And so I think right now, if you could just walk away from that with a couple things. One, clarity of where you're trying to go. And two, how does it work? And then you getting properly trained. So you're like, okay, I can do this, or hey, I might want to delegate this to someone else, or I might whatever. Like, you'll have clarity on that 100% when you leave.
Yeah, I think that it'd probably be, it need to happen. I probably need to come. Yeah.
And then your husband, he can't physically come. What I recommend, and I'll talk to Coach Aaron, if we have a process, if you want, we can take him virtually through the whole shadow day through a live streaming app, laptop, so that he can still experience it all. So we can put him on the virtual, we can have him walking with you through the virtual operation and everything.
Yeah, it's just with the kids, we don't really have anybody to watch them for him to come with. So one of us has to stay behind. But that would be very helpful, I think. Yeah, I'll talk to him. The reason why we weren't sure if we were going to come to this one is because we felt like we still have things to put in place before we would be ready to come and even, feel like we would get anything out of it, because we still don't have a lot of basics in place. But I sound like the person that you mentioned. I'm going to go to the gym when I have 6 packs. So I can see that.
Yeah. You come to the event to basic. So I would actually recommend you don't change too much until you come. Because
okay.
From this. Yeah, I wouldn't do a whole lot. Yeah, I wouldn't do like too much, because I wouldn't want you spending money on anything that you're going to get here and be like, oh, what was I thinking? So I wouldn't do too many drastic changes or anything before coming, and that's just my opinion.
I can see that, and I agree with it. Yeah, because I'll probably end up wasting a lot of money, as we look at it as learning expense. Even something doesn't work out, but you put the money out. That was just the cost of learning. But I can see where maybe coming, getting clarity, getting that direction, we can actually invest with more purpose. And I'll be coming.
I'll let the team know to give your husband full virtual access. Now, what CRM did you end up getting?
I got our eSimply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you are, yep. So there's 2 systems I'm a big believer in. There is Data Sift, which is more of a data management platform, more basic CRM. So when you grow a team, it's really what your cold callers will be dialing from. But right now you are the cold caller. So for example, in my company, I have both platforms. DataSift is my data management and tagging and my cold caller platform. And when they get a lead, they submit it into reSimply. And we still use Podio, but we're switching to reSimply right now. So they then submit it. Right now, I genuinely think that we should do 2 things, but I want you to learn the acquisitions process before you spend the money. I think that you should get their unlimited niche data plan with AI. We get you on the phones, we master acquisitions. I think that you alone, whether it's you or your husband, can probably do 2 to 3 deals a month minimum just doing that.
Data Sift?
You need to master.
You're referring to, okay.
Yeah, but what I'm gonna recommend, and let me go talk to the team real quick, and then I'm gonna have them do a follow-up call with you to just give you a game plan between now and then. Okay. Because I just want you to get educated and trained on it first, is how the AI data and platform works. But for those folks that don't have teams yet, I think if I could go back, I wish I would have had that when I was smaller. because if I would have mastered acquisitions, I definitely am very confident in myself to do that process and do 3+ deals a month by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great.
I think that once you get trained in acquisitions, you'll be fine. I think that it's just a matter of getting trained.
Well, and having access to the right data and getting to,
The data,
deals.
that's the problem. Right now, you're not feeling the right people.
No. And I did stop RE simply because I got overwhelmed. So I would be willing to restart it if and when the time comes. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would say, did you cancel recently then?
Just yesterday. I probably could reverse that.
Yeah, so what I would recommend though is before you do that, let's get you on this platform where it's like you're the cold caller with the right data, talking to the right people.
Yep.
And then we'll go to a different platform that's more meant for growth, in my opinion. They both have their pros and cons, but I think that most people, I would say, if I could go back, this is what I would start with. As I grew, I would then take on this other system.
I kind of felt that I was out of my place, and that explains it. Yeah.
Now, DataSift isn't perfect. I'm going to be honest with like transaction coordinating, like in their system right now. It's really good for data, dialing, and acquisitions. And it definitely has transaction coordinating and Dispo in it. But I just think that right now, all that matters is we get you trained on locking in the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
Well, how do you feel about today? I think that you and your husband should have a talk. But I feel very confident in your ability. I think you just don't know right now, but I can tell like it's not a confidence issue. It's just like you just don't know what you don't know yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm very grateful that, you had the conversation with me and just kind of told me, straight up front things that I needed to hear that I kind of knew, but I, didn't want to believe, and, avoidance. So facing the problems and taking actions to correct them is what's going to help us. And I really appreciate you being honest and upfront and helping us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited for you. I think regardless, let's just say you come out to the workshop, what's going to happen is if you're like, hey, I don't know if I want to do, which I think you will, but if you're like, hey, I don't know if I want to do off market, I promise you're going to learn something even for your realtor business that's going to take you to the next step. I'm very confident in that. And if for any reason you don't feel that way, don't even hesitate to ask me for your money back. There will be no questions asked. So I want to take all the risk off you, but I know that it'll be an answer for you. I genuinely think it'll bring you clarity.
Yeah, I have no doubt that there will be a benefit. I told the coach or the person I spoke with, Caleb, I believe, he, you guys are like us, but in chapter 100, there's so many similarities. It's not even funny. When you talk, it resonates because I'm like, I'm there. That's what I think. It's insane. I've been in different coaching before, and I've been in different groups before, but I've never felt like this aligned with where we are, where we want to go in business. So I definitely believe that it'll be very beneficial because you were where we are. So you've probably had the same pain points and struggles, and obviously overcame them very well. And I'm excited.
And since we work with our spouse, I'm just going to fair warn you that the faster you get clarity, the better. Because if you're anything like me and Josh, I am hard-headed. And so I have to have clarity with him, or I'm going to overstep a lot. So I will say that over the last few years, that's something that we've made a priority. And that's why we have level 10s with each other every week. Not that you want to take my advice on this, something that we've done that's really worked lately is we do what we call our own personal level 10. And at the beginning of that meeting every week, we say, what are 2 things from the week before that I did that you appreciated? And what is 1 or 2 things that I did that I need to work better on? And ever since that little like small thing that we start that meeting on as a married couple and business partners, it's really helped us like open the box of just maybe things you wouldn't say because you're avoiding conflict or whatever.
Yeah.
We also have an agreement in that level 10 that we're allowed to have friction, and that we both shake hands, that when we walk out of the door, that friction's left at the door because we're business partners. And that was really hard in the beginning, working together. So we had to like be very thoughtful and like true to that, because we have a different dynamic, obviously, going home together.
Right.
Guys, I gotta jump. It's like I have another thing coming up right now at 12. But I really appreciate it. I'll make sure the team follows up with you after this. And if you have any questions, you can grab my phone number or shoot me an email, and I can chat anytime.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure.